Alrighty.
No tops, no blooper video.
Colleen, tell those guys to come back.
Yeah, can you wave them back? Are they still
Tell
there?
them to come back. We have to redo it.
But I would agree. So now we are recording. I would agree that LinkedIn is right for small business owners trying to reach a certain person in a business, like a CEO type. How I will tell you that there is a push for CEOs to get more involved with social media in general. So you'll probably see more and more of them on Facebook and Twitter, I would think. I don't know about Instagram. Instagram is the fastest growing social media platform right now, so it's interesting. But you're right, it's more of a visual platform, and it's better for a restaurant. And we have a question from Barb. Barb, I'm glad you did that. So William, just so you know, if you do want to ask a question, if you type in /Q and then type the question, you can. It actually draws more attention to it, and we can go back to them later in case you missed it. So Barb asked the question: do you network through SBA and SCORE initiatives in your state? That's for you, Colleen.
Not network, but they send us referrals, which is a great thing. We actually have one mentor and a business coach who actually used to be a SCORE advisor. So I think SCORE is an awesome way. If you're starting a new business, they're great to go in there. They tend to have, I guess you're only as strong as one person there, but they do have some amazing programs that I would take advantage of. If you're just starting out, it's free, go for it. Same thing with the SBA. They have some great workshops that you can attend. But generally they send us referrals. If a small business owner needs to problem solve, they need somebody to, they need that accountability. They need a marketing program. They need things more spelled out for them. We're more their venue. We have a business helpline too, which has kind of been a gift. Meetup groups, Barb. Great question. So, I do.
Colleen, you actually have a meetup.
What was that?
You actually have a few meetup groups.
I do. I have 3 meetup groups, and but it's never generated any revenue for me. So I keep those going as, I think people that go to meetup groups tend to be of that market that they're not going to spend money to invest in their business. That's why they're in a meetup group. That's why they're not in a chamber. It's just my opinion. I'm probably going to get slaughtered for this, but I've been doing meetup groups for 2 years and have never got a member from them. And I've talked to similar people who feel the same. I think it's great if you're like in a multiple marketing type of, and what is that? I just totally lost the MML. I think it's great for that, because I think it's a great way to meet people who can introduce you to other people, like B2C, but it doesn't really work for me in particular. I do have members that I tell to go to meetup groups though. So it depends on your business.
Good answer.
That's about as honest as it gets. I hate to slay a particular forum, but it hasn't been very productive for me.
Scott and I are big in the networking groups. We belong to one, and I personally love it. I mean, it's a great way to meet other people. It's a great way just to get your name out there. And I'm a big proponent of networking groups versus spending my time cold calling. I'd rather spend an hour in a networking meeting than an hour cold calling.
I think it's better to meet people. I agree. But let me challenge you on this. The people who you've gotten business from, Eugene, are they in networking groups that you pay to belong, or are they in meetup groups?
Well, I've done both. I've done meetup groups, but Scott and I are both in BNI, and that's a paid one.
Is BNI more productive?
Yes. We find I find BNI more productive because people have to pay for it, and it provides structure. And we kind of hold each other accountable, and there's a huge accountability factor. A lot of these meetup groups you'll go to, and you'll see the same 2 people, and every other week there'll be somebody different, and nobody really stays there consistently. You don't really get to know each other. So in BNI, we get to know each other, we like and we trust each other, and the referrals just start coming in.
I got to tell you, I think that is the magic sauce, because it's still 86% of purchasers are built on trust and relationships, mm-hmm. and however you meet people, you just have to meet people. So like, even when I say I use LinkedIn, well, I build a relationship with them. It's, we have phone calls and I reach out and there's a relationship that's built. We do video calls. I mean, it just gives me access to more people and helps me pin down those groups quicker, I think, than going to New Haven, Connecticut and meeting with 12 people. But I will tell you, huge advocate of B&I groups. I think for especially certain professions, that it's a great place to be.
No, I agree. And also, I mean, in a lot of those groups, you have to work them. I mean, the biggest thing in all those networking groups and the networking period is follow-up. So you get somebody's business card, contact them, try to sit down with them. I think that you can, if you do it that way, you can have great success in any networking group, even the meetups where people are in and out. Just once again, it comes back to establishing that relationship with them. And William, BNI stands for Business Networking International.
Yep. Yeah, they're worldwide, William. Yeah. I don't know, William, I'm not sure where you're based out of, but they're in every state. So if you want to visit some of the local chapters, it would probably help you. As Colleen mentioned, that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And that's pretty much their, I don't want to say motto, but their belief system. That you do business with people you know, like, and trust. And it's true. And you can earn to a degree that trust on the internet, but it's in person. There's definitely more to be said to that. All right. So we asked you some easy questions, Colleen, but I'm going to ask you some tougher ones. Did you have something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Why did you start Small Business USA? You kind of mentioned it, but you didn't really go into a lot of detail.
So I had retired a little over 3 years ago. I was going to spend time with my family, and it turns out when your kids get older, they don't really want to spend time with you. So I had gone and invested in real estate and rentals, and and I realized I couldn't go from leading 5,000 people to leading 5 people. So I started a blog, which led to an old business of mine coming back, which led to some major consulting gigs. And I was like, what am I doing? There's all these people around me that are really struggling. And it was amazing after 25 years in corporate America, 24 years. What was amazing to me was that it was so hard for my friends who were small business owners. So I'll tell you my 2 really tragic stories that made me really think and dig into Small Business USA. My sister had owned a day spa for 13 years. And while I'm going through this kind of landing back in corporate America, consulting and meeting all these people and networking events, it was kind of eye-opening. My sister called me and she said, I'm selling the business and I'm going to sell it for exactly what I owe. After 13 years of working like a dog, she had a balance of 0 and was starting all over again. And the same time, a really good friend of mine had a restaurant for 30 years, a family restaurant. In the last few years, it hadn't been doing well. And I used to bring my team there to, just support his business, their friends. He'd always ask me, though, he'd say, Colleen, why do businesses struggle? Why are people hurting? And I'll tell you, I knew he was saying my business is struggling. And he was very honest with me. He said my business is struggling. And so I went to try to help him. And I said, I'd give him feedback, but he was a friend. And I will tell you, this is the hardest thing that you can do, because the first job with a friend is to protect a relationship, right? So when you're in the chamber or the BNI, or it's your next door neighbor or your best friend, you want to help them more than anything, but you need to protect your relationship first, right? And I realized I gave him really pertinent feedback, but it wasn't the feedback he needed. So for example, he had a bartender who was horrible. It was his right-hand person. She was horrible. The minute he turned around, he was mean. He was mean to us, and he knew that I was a friend of this couple. And she was horrible. She wouldn't give people drinks. She would yell at the wait staff. She's terrible, right? So the feedback I gave him is he needed to sit back where nobody could see him and observe his team and observe what happens, right? Guess what he did? He said, "Oh, I got this great feedback, Miss Bartender. I need you to sit back and observe the team and see what they're doing." So he assigned it to the worst person on the team. Instead of me saying, "Hey, your right-hand person is an idiot, you need to fire them," which is what I should have said. Instead, I gave a little fluff, and I should never, ever, ever have done that. And it had this. So then I went to a dinner party shortly after they announced they were closing. Now, this is dear friends of ours. They had this business 30 years. This was their retirement plan. They were going to sell it. They were going to move to Florida. They had these great plans, right? And all of a sudden they announced that they were closing the restaurant after 30 years. They couldn't make it happen, and they couldn't sell it. And I was at a dinner party with 8 people, walked in, around the table, everybody's, this couple hadn't gotten there yet. And everybody was talking about why their business failed. Every single person. And I didn't make very many friends that night because I walked in and I asked a question. They were all right, by the way. Every single one of them had a really valid reason why that business was not failing. And every single one of them was a good quality friend of this couple. And do you know, I asked a question, did anybody tell them? And not one person. I mean, the whole room felt silent. And all of a sudden, everybody sitting at that table felt responsible for their demise. And I did too. I can't lie. I did too. I felt so responsible because I had the power to change it. And I protected my friendship before I protected their future. And I wanted to just shoot myself. And I see this over and over again. So I put together at that point, I was like, I just can't, this is why my mom failed. My mom is still, she never was able to rebuild her business. This is why so many businesses fail, because they don't have the information, the tools that they need. So I decided I wasn't the smartest person in the room. And I went and found the smartest people I could find. I went to networking events until I turned blue and my feet hurt. And I found the smartest, most successful business people I could. And I put them on a board of advisors. And we worked for about 6 months researching everything about small business. And we put these folks together and created Small Business USA. And I'm proud that it works. And it's amazing and it's easy. And, I sit at that board meeting and they're like, raise the price. I've had venture capitalists come in and say, hey, listen, we'll give you millions of dollars for this company, but you got to charge $800 a month. I won't do it because I think that small business owners, solopreneurs, they've got to be able to afford it. And so for me, I don't know, Scott, that was a very long answer, and I'm sorry I'm not giving short answers today, but for me, this is my legacy career. This fills my cup. It is so good to see us making a difference in small business. So that's why I started it. I can make a difference.
So when you started, what type of challenges did you encounter in the beginning?
Oh, I made mistakes just like everyone else. I thought my idea was so great. And all of us, my board, we were like, oh, this is the best idea I ever saw. So, I always talk about small business owners have that trough of sorrow. The 2 biggest mistakes I personally made. The first one is I thought everybody would see things as I did. We had these 4 pillars of the business, and I thought everybody's going to see they need these 4 things. This makes total sense. I didn't realize that people see things differently. And I don't know why I didn't see that, but I was so wrapped up and in love with our idea. So I did. So I'm sorry. I was like reading the next question. So this is a little distracting, right? But it was doing it all myself, which we all fall into, and being so in love with my idea that I didn't see that people were having a hard time figuring out how to follow it. So we made a pivot, and we challenge business owners all the time. You have to be able to make a pivot. We have over 100 members right now, Barb. We have been, we're not over 100. We're almost at 100. I can't wait till we hit 100. That's going to be like the biggest celebration ever, right?
Celebration.
Well, that is like worthy of a celebration.
Yeah.
And it took us, we're still getting members every day, but we have been selling memberships for a little over 2 years now.
So for the recording purposes, Barbara asked, how many members does Small Business USA have, and how long did it take to get there? So almost 100 and a little over 2 years. For those that just joined, if you could just tell a little bird on the left side of your screen, just click that link, that button, and tell people on Twitter land that we're on here talking to Colleen Ferrary of Small Business USA. and she does have another project that we'll get into in a moment. So, Colleen, how do you balance that? Barbara, let's do Barbara's question first. What percentage of membership is based in Connecticut? Barbara, I'm
About
going to have you come on and do some interview questions on the next show, maybe.
It's about 50. We kind of border outside, and it's believe it or not, we have a high concentration in the Carolinas right now, but that's probably our growing population base, and New York City is really starting to grow for us as well. But it's about 50% in Connecticut right now.
So, good question, Barbara. So, again, just for the recording, what percentage of membership is based in Connecticut? And it's around 50. This is where she started. I was, I don't know, maybe 15 months or so I've been on board. Anyway, so my next question was, I got distracted too. It is easy to get distracted in here. Next question. How do you balance work life? I know you have a daughter, and I didn't know you have a dog, but now I know. How do you balance that work life? That's your business partner back there? Work life. Because I'll tell you, knowing Colleen will send you an email at 2 o'clock in the morning or a text message at 2 o'clock in the morning. Not expecting you to reply necessarily, but she will send it. So I know Colleen doesn't sleep much. So tell us about that.
I will tell you, I really believe I have really great life balance, and I think you have to. And I think there's always going to be those weeks that you're going to work your butt off, and you have to put in 100 hours or whatever it is, hopefully not 100. But there's always those weeks, But I think you have to have really good life balance to be able to give back to people. So for me, and I do this, we have a time management segment that we do with our members, but I think it's about finding the time that you work best. And for me, I'm an early morning person. I love to get up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. I love to run at 5 o'clock in the morning. I find my downtime is at 3. So I'll exercise when I'm starting to feel lazy and sluggish, and that just re-energizes me and clears my mind. But then I'll tell you, my daughter gets out of school at 2:40. So at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I really try to spend time with her until 7:30, and then I might work a little bit after. Doesn't mean that I'm not, there's probably 2 or 3 days a week that I'm working in between that 3 to 5 session of time. But what I really try to do is schedule my time and balance it. And as Scott's alluding to, I have 2 businesses. Small Business USA has recently funded something I'm so proud of for parents of teenagers. It's really, Scott's helping us with it. It's Generating Winners. It launches October 1st. It's the coolest thing ever. But I only commit 10% of my time to that. It's a passion project. It fills my cup. I think when it fills your cup and it fills your soul, that's, it's worth doing. But I would challenge anybody, figure out when your downtime is and do something good for yourself. If it's meditate, if it's run, if it's go to the gym, if it's be with friends, use that time that you're kind of sluggish and, that brain dead type of time to do something really good for yourself and fill your personal cup, not work, because you're not going to be productive during that time anyway. And if you're and anybody who tells you to wake up an hour earlier, just don't listen to them. If you spend the time that you're most productive doing the most important things. So if I'm most productive from 2 to 5 in the morning or 3 to 6 in the morning, well, that's when I should be doing the most important stuff I do, right? Because that's when I'm going to be most productive. I'm going to have the best ideas. I'm going to be clear-headed, and you're going to get more done. But the minute you take away that life piece, I'm going to tell you, the rest of it comes crashing down. Millions of studies to show you that. I mean, I'm probably not telling anybody anything new, but you got to balance it. You have to have that quality time with your kids, your husband, everyone.
So, not my husband, though.
Oh, well, wife. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Colleen.
No, but I do the exact same thing you do. When my son gets off the bus, it's children time, and that's it until he goes to bed. And then I'm back to work for a little while. Same exact thing. So
I personally
think that's an advantage of being in business for yourself.
I personally struggle with that, where I always think that being a business owner, you always have to be like working every minute of the day. There's always things to do, and there's always things that pop into your head. It's kind of hard sometimes just to stop that and just focus on spending time with, friends, family, or just even focusing on yourself for a little bit, like reading a book or doing some type of learning about the business you're in. So that's hard sometimes.
Walt Hampton's going to have to pay me a commission today because I mentioned his name twice. But he always says it's in my brain. When he says, "Hey, how are you?" and you say, "I'm busy," he turns to you and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." Because, and there's those weeks, those days that you're super busy. But the truth is, find balance because you'll do everything better.
Yeah. So, all the businesses you work with, what type of help do you find they most often come to you for?
Oh, that's a good question, Eugene. The more established businesses, the businesses that have been around 10 or 15 years, they have a track record of success. They're generally the guys that say, I want to come to you because I'm tired of making mistakes and I'm tired of wasting time. And that's generally why they join. Somebody once called, the other set of members called because they need accountability. They need a path. They're scared about what the future holds. They know where they should be going, but that there's so many exit ramps and on ramps. They're not really sure what direction to take. One of our members said, we give you the map to the minefield of small business. And I got to tell you, I think sometimes even when I started, doesn't it feel like that? It feels like you're out there and you could step on a mine at any minute and just throw you off your game. Or, what do you do? What do you do? Periscope? Do you do Lab? Do you do Facebook? Do you, where do you spend your money? There's 9,000 places to spend your money on marketing. But so I think it's direction and accountability in the beginning.
Fantastic. So,
thanks, Barb. I appreciate you joining. Great question.
Colleen, one of the things you focus on, I think it's even on your website, what are some of the more common business failures, reasons for business failures?
Oh, the owner getting in their own way or only trusting their own instincts is probably one of the biggest ones, not having all of the information. We fall in love with our ideas, and that's why we're entrepreneurs. We're creative and we're confident enough to go after it. So I think that's one of them. Business owners, so kind of business owners getting in their own way, being too afraid to take that next step. And, I love Bob in one of our groups. He wrote a testimonial, so I'm sure he doesn't mind sharing it. But he said, Small Business USA gave me the confidence to be a CEO again. And I love that phrase because I think I see so many business owners start working in their business, in their business instead of on their business, and they forget that they're a CEO, and they always need to be taking that bird's eye view, stepping back and seeing their business for what it is. Financial mistakes you look over and over and over, it's the number one mistake, right? People will spend a ton of money and it's not money spent in the right places. So we see that as a common mistake. We have a list of these 48 mistakes that we found when we were researching why businesses fail. But really what it is at the end of the day, it's about bad decisions, and it's about not being disciplined and holding yourself accountable enough. And I'll give you one story, and I know I'm so talkative today. I'm so sorry. But
yeah, that's what we want.
One story is no, go ahead. I won't share it. But I think we all do it, right? We all come Friday, we don't make our goals, and we say as a business owner, oh, you know what? I'll do that next week. Well, you didn't have that opportunity in corporate America, and that's what separates corporate America and big business from small business. You got to get it done. You got to be deliberate with your goals, have goals, be deliberate, and get it done. Make sure they're the right goals. Make sure you're not wasting time. Get it done. So
somebody is out there, wanting to start a business. What type of advice would you get them? Where do they start? How do you recommend they kind of just start with the marketing and do they start with the business plan? What do you would recommend that they start with?
Yeah, we're very deliberate. Like I love, we're very deliberate about how we start. We start with goals and vision first. And I tell any business owner when they come to me, and I get that question all the time, Eugene, like, oh, I want to start a business. I'm like, well, why are you starting this, paperclip business? And they'll go, well, it's there. It seems like, it might be a good market for paper clips. I'm like, well, I don't know. People use less paper, right? First, it's got to be it's got to be a business that has sustainability. But also, you have to be passionate about it because being a small business owner is hard, you guys. So you gotta be passionate about it. If this isn't your passion, don't do it. If you don't love inbound marketing, you shouldn't be in that business. You're not gonna do it well. Do what you do well and turn it into a business. What did Warren Buffett say? Never invest in anything that you don't know. If you don't know anything about paper clips, get out of it. Stop making widgets if you don't know anything about widgets.
Scott, Scott, do you love inbound marketing, and do you love scottgumbar.com?
I love scottgumbar.com. I built it myself. I love Small Business USA too, or smallbusinessus.com, because I built that one too, sort of. Colleen kind of guided the ship there a little bit. Colleen, you were an early adapter to Periscope and Blab. As a matter of fact, I think I told you, Gene, the story. I may have even said it last week in our Real Success Radio show, but I was working out of the office, and I was in between a B&I meeting and a speaking engagement in Milford, Connecticut. So I had 3 hours in between. I sat down at a Kinko's to do some work, and Colleen sends me a text, says, "Hey, you want to blab?" Colleen texts and calls all the time, so I'm thinking she just wants to talk for a minute. Didn't know anything about Blab. And a couple minutes later, here I am on Blab, live and in person. And she has a habit of doing this. So I went to her office a couple weeks ago, and then I'm on Periscope. Didn't even know it. She says, "Oh, you're on Periscope. Here's Scott Gumbar." So you adopted both of them pretty early and pretty quickly. So what do you think? Give us some feedback on them.
I love them. Well, me, like, I'm a people person. I love this. So I love to see people, their faces. Like, I never thought we'd succeed in a virtual environment in Small Business USA. Who would have thought? It's thriving, right? But I love this virtual interaction. And for Periscope, I think it gives a business owner it gives them a great opportunity to just get out there and talk and build a base in a different way. And what's interesting is you tend to get more followers by doing blabs. I've done all kinds of different things to get followers, and that's what we do, right? So people can hear our message. But this is great because you know who you're following. I think they're wonderful platforms. I personally love Blab better than Periscope because I like the dialogue. And I understand if we start arguing right now, we're going to have a whole lot more viewers. So
we would have had more viewers if I was recording the police officers coming to say hi. Good data. So if you just joined, I don't think everybody's been in here for a little while, but if no, maybe not. But if you just joined, we forgot to. Well, I forgot to start recording, and it was Colleen was visited by a couple of gentlemen wearing badges. So you missed that if you came in late. So you never know what's going to happen on our show. If you come in late, you might miss something.
So, Scott, should we do the fire round? Put her on the hot seat.
So we got 4 quick questions that you have to answer quickly. We call it the fire round. So
okay.
You ready? I'll start. Your favorite business book?
50 Irrefutable Laws of Power.
What is it?
The 50 Irrefutable Laws of Power.
I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
Write that down.
You should have said, if you were smart, you would have said your book. Small Business, Big Money. Colleen had the book, in case you didn't know. Small Business, Big Money. You can get it for free on our website, smallbusinessus.com. It's an ebook. It's a great read. Check it out.
So you did the point. Read that when you want to start a business. It talks about those goals and goal setting and differentiating yourself. So
fantastic. All right. Favorite activity outside of your business?
Hanging out with my family. I love being with people. Dinner parties, friends, people. I love that. It could be a walk. It could be anything.
Your favorite quote?
I have not yet begun to defile myself. Doc Holliday, Tombstone. No.
Wow.
No, I love Alfred Lord Tennyson. What is that?
One piece of advice you wish you knew before you started your business.
Oh, that's so good. Don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to say you made a mistake and pivot. I think you hold off pivoting and making those decisions to change and pivot because you're afraid you're going to look weak. And I don't think it's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of intelligence.
I think that's true.
I agree.
In all of life, not just business. All of life. All right. So, Colleen, first of all, tell us about generating winners. We didn't talk about it much. Tell us about generating winners.
Yeah, I think if anybody, you guys were, it's in the beginning phase right now. It's my passion project with a man named Matt Moran, who I've worked with. We've had some wonderful connections with the NFL and really helping us to really think differently about parents of teenagers. So we hope to maximize teenagers' potentials by giving parents parents and influencers, the tools to just stay ahead of their kids. It's a really fun website. It's really October 1st at launch. You can take a sneak peek, but if you look at it, I want you to look at the anonymous teen. There's a letter written by an anonymous teen, and there's also a 1-minute video clip that will just blow your mind if you have children. And we put it in front of focus groups this week, and I can't even tell you, jaws have dropped. And that's what we're about. It's about making you think differently about being a parent, not being so hard on yourself, making it easier, giving you the tools to be ahead. Because I don't think for Main Street teenagers and parents of teenagers, there's enough tools out there. There's not a one-stop shop. So we're really excited about what we're putting together here because we think it can help a lot of parents make their life a little easier. Not, right now parents are just guessing. They're like, things hit them in the face. Oh my God, I have to go on campus visits. Oh no. This is, the experts on this. I am not worthy to sit on the board that we've created. These guys are unbelievably talented. Unbelievably. They give me goosebumps about how smart they are. Psychotherapists, physicians, college professors. They're unbelievable.
That's generatingwinners.com, and you can check it out. The launch is in about 2 weeks. Getting close. But the majority of it's there. Vicki, thanks for joining us. Vicki, if you could tell a little bird, we are wrapping up, but if you could tell a little bird, that would be great. Colleen, how do people get a hold of you?
You can email me at Colleen@smallbusinessus.com. It's Colleen @smallbusinessus.com. We lost the A. We are Small Business USA, but there's no A in our website, just an A in our service.
There you go.
Or you can call me at 860-249-7088. 860-249-7088, and that's our offices in downtown Hartford. But we'd love to talk to you.
Okay, so next week, Eugene, want to tell everybody about our guest next week?
Yeah, next week we have one of my friends and clients, Xavier Richardson, who owns Hands On Moving. They're a moving company based in New Haven, Connecticut / Hamden, Connecticut. He just recently moved, so now he's based in Hamden. But he's a young 24 kid that started his own business while at the same time being a supervisor at Yale Hospital. So he's doing a great job with his business considering he has a full-time job.
So he'll be next week, and I think Eugene, you mentioned he gets all of his business from social media. Is that right?
Yes, all of his business. I would probably say 90% come from the internet one way or another.
So that'll be really interesting. So Colleen, if you have time next Friday at 10 a.m.
Oh, you guys, I spy on all of your things. Any chance I can get.
Colleen has aliases, by the way. She'll show up on a different name, so you got to watch out. I do have a couple of the blabs scheduled next week, Colleen. One is the 4-hour work week. I think that's Monday night. Another one is,
Saw that. I subscribed to that already. And you guys,
did
if you
you?
subscribe to a blab, then they remind you when it comes up.
Yes.
So I forgot to subscribe to this blab. That would have been my problem.
Good point. So if you do want to see next week's, make sure you subscribe. Thank you, William, for coming in and staying for the whole thing. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Make sure you subscribe so you get notified. And so next week's is already scheduled. I'll schedule out the next couple. We do have the next 3 weeks lined up already. So we will. We have interesting guests coming on. Eugene, any parting thoughts?
Colleen, it's nice to have you. It was great to, I guess you could say, this meeting you, since we actually see each other. So I'll probably be reaching out to find out more. Sounds like a small business you say is interesting. I'd like to find out more.
Yeah, definitely love to talk to you. Hey, thanks you guys for having me on the call. But can I ask you guys 2 questions?
Sure.
Power questions really quick before we go?
Oh, man. Wait. Fire round. No, I don't know if I could agree to that. Go Jets.
Come on. They're easy. They're easy. Just tell me what you're most proud of with your business.
This T-shirt. My Google Agency Day T-shirt. I got a badge. Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me show you. Hold on.
Well, Scott gets this thing. I guess I'll answer. I think the most thing I'm actually proud of is actually just doing it. You know, a lot of times you have these thoughts of, hey, I should. But to actually do it and deal with all the ups and downs from day one and to see how far I've come in the last just about 2 years now, I think that's what I'm most proud of up to this point.
Oh, that's awesome, Eugene.
So,
all right, Scott, what do you show us?
In all honesty, what I am most proud of is, Colin, you know, it's kind of I have 2 soft spots. One is coaching kids, you know, because you yelled at me for coaching baseball earlier this year. But the other one is helping. Yes, you did. You said, do you have the time for that?
I said you were biting off a lot.
But I love it. And the other one is just helping small businesses. I love small businesses, you know, similar to what you do, but I do it in a different way. But one of the things they gave us yesterday is this. It's called Google Cardboard. You have to see what this thing can do. It's amazing. So you connect it to your phone. You have to install this app called Google Cardboard. And right now, there's mostly just demos and stuff, but it's growing quickly. And it's like virtual reality. So one of them is a guy jumping off a cliff into a waterfall. Another one is swimming with the sharks. They take you through a museum somewhere. It's some Google Earth stuff. It's really cool. Because if you open it up, it takes me a minute. There's like lenses in there.
Where does one get a Google Cardboard?
That I'm not sure. They gave it to us yesterday. I actually got 2. So
can
one
you
is.
Please put it on and demonstrate this, Scott?
Oh, come on! I don't have my phone.
We just want to see what you look like with it on.
Is that all this is about right now?
For me, it is. Something to make fun of you about.
There you go. I don't even know if you can see
it. It goes with the lenses down?
Yeah, because the phone goes inside. Your phone goes in here. And you close it. Yeah, and it makes everything look 3-dimensional. And they showed us how they do it. They have these helmets, and they just circle the whole helmet with what do you call those? GoPros. So it's just one helmet had 16 GoPros all around the person's head.
Really?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Huh. Like people got motion sickness from it and everything.
Wow.
Hey, you know what you know what I'd love for you to talk about next time is the new 3D advertising they're doing. Have you seen that? What is it called? It's not 3D. You the panoramic. You scan, like you can see the ad, but then you can scan to the left or right.
I think that this ties into that. That's on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I just read about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, this ties into that because there are some videos on YouTube that it links to. So.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thanks for. Oh, how do I subscribe?
William, when the session is closed, you should see. If you go back out and just go to my profile, I believe you'll see the next few episodes that I've scheduled. Also, you'll see next to our names, there's a check mark. You can follow us that way. Just click that check mark and you're following us on Blab. So it's not the same as following us on Twitter. It's both. This is just for Blab. You can then go. There you go. You just followed me. Awesome. You can then go out to Twitter and also follow us on Twitter. There should be a little Twitter icon next to it. I already checked your profile out, William. I checked on you. Don't worry. I'm like the NSA of Twitter.
And we also have a website, growthsuccessradio.com. You can go on there and find out who our guests are and a little bio about the guests before we have them on. That's
correct. growthsuccessradio.com. Past guests are also stored on there. So as of right now, you are a past guest, Colleen.
That's the best way to get off the phone.
There's YouTube, right? On your channel, Scott?
These are. Colleen, did you know you can upload directly to YouTube now from here?
Oh, you can?
Yeah, that happened the day after our episode last week. So when you're done, you go back to the replay, and there's a button that says upload to YouTube.
Oh,
yeah.
Check that out.
Fancy stuff.
See, the thing about Scott is you give him a little nugget, and then he researches the heck out of it, and then he starts teaching you. You think you're all bad because you come up with you find Blab first, and then he just blows you out of the water.
And then he becomes an expert in like a week.
Oh,
I'm an expert. I actually have a blog post on scottcumber.com on Blab as well.
See?
If you're on my email list, you know. I am the expert.
Because he talked to me about blab.com probably, a couple weeks ago, if that.
Yeah, I don't think I've been on that long yet. But...
Yeah, here, check this out. You want to do this for our show? I'm like,
oh, wow.
I don't even know what it is. First of all,
I'm like a veteran. I've been on for 18 days now.
All right, you guys.
We've both been on for 18 days.
Yeah.
We're waiting for the cops to show up again.
I don't know. Oh, here they come. How about that? They're really coming.
They're really here?
Let's wave this time, though. Let's see. Oh, no, they took it.
Let's all wave at the cops.
Just for the viewers that missed the beginning, I didn't do anything wrong.
Give your dog a treat for me.
Okay. All right. She's like, we bored her silly. She's sound asleep back there.
So quiet, though, and perfect.
Good for her.
Oh, she is a good dog. Yeah. That's why everybody loves a golden retriever, right?
Yes.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was fun.
Thanks, Colleen.
All right.
Take care.
Good night. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.